I never expected a quiet, small town to feel so loud, not with traffic, not with voices, not with noise, but with tension, the kind that hides in window blinds and lingers in the cracks of fences, the kind that curls around your front porch, long before you ever know your neighbors' names. Sometimes a place speaks to you before the people living in it ever do, and sometimes the warning comes in a whisper you don't hear until it's too late. Maybe I should have sensed it sooner. Maybe I should have felt that shifting energy the moment my truck rolled into that old driveway on Brookridge Lane. But I was chasing something back then, a feeling, a restart, a chance to step out of the wreckage of the year I'd barely survived. Hope is blinding like that. My name is Evan Carter, and last spring, I bought a house that everyone else had given up on, a sagging little place, wedged between two modern homes, with perfect lawns and cheerful porches. My porch was crooked, my steps were cracked, my windows were dull with dust, and years of silence. Realtors called it, full of character, which is what people say when they don't want to say, "This house will break you." Inside, the house felt abandoned. Not just empty, abandoned. Half-finished walls, exposed wiring, bare floor planks that groaned under every step, like they resented my presence. The front door locked with a padlock, older than my childhood memories. Cold metal, weak metal, the kind that could be snapped open with enough force and anger. I should have turned around, should have driven away, should have listened to every instinct, telling me this place had a story it wasn't ready to share. But I didn't. I was determined, desperate, hopeful in the way broken people often are. So I unloaded the truck with Max, my dog, my shadow, my reason to keep going, and started imagining what this place could become. And that's when I saw it. An old bicycle, parked inside my garage, not fallen over, not pushed aside, but placed, deliberately, like a ghost had left it there, minutes before I arrived. No owner, no note, no lock, just a silent warning that this place wasn't as empty as I thought. "Okay," I whispered. "That's unsettling." I rolled it out to the street. The metal squeaked, rust scraping against rust. I tried not to imagine someone wheeling it in, parking it inside, as if my garage were theirs. But that night, after installing the new gate, the truth came knocking. Hard. Someone slammed their fists against the metal with so much force, the whole house shuddered. Max growled from deep in his chest. My heart hammered. I moved quietly to the window and peered through a thin slit. Between the curtains, an older man stood there, face red with fury, hands balled into fists, eyes burning, like I'd committed a personal crime. He paced, he muttered, he swung his arms in frustration, like a man whose world had been interrupted. After 15 long minutes, he spotted the bicycle lying in the street. He stomped over, snatched it up, and walked away, without ever looking at the house. Welcome home, Evan. I didn't know it then, but that man, Walter Grady, would unravel the quiet life I thought I was building. The first week drifted by, with small oddities, cars blocking my driveway, random people wandering near my fence, strangers treating my property as if it were still abandoned. I put up a no parking sign. It didn't help much, but it made me feel like I had some control, in a place that felt strangely territorial. One afternoon, Lucas, my old friend and contractor, visited. He walked through the house, shaking his head at every exposed wire and half-finished wall. But when I told him about the bicycle, he frowned. "That's Walter," he said. "Trust me." He wasn't happy the house sold. "Why?" I asked. Lucas shrugged. He used to borrow this property. I blinked. Borrow? The owners were gone for years, he explained. When a place looks empty long enough, people start thinking, it's theirs to use. The words slid into me, like a cold blade. I didn't like them, didn't understand them, didn't want to, so I tried to shrug it off. For a moment, trouble didn't come loudly. It came in a quiet hiss of falling water pressure. I was showering. When the stream thinned into a sad drizzle, I stumbled, soap stinging my eyes. Max barked downstairs. Through the cracked bathroom window, I heard a low hum. A pump. Walter's pump. The timing was too perfect. Too sharp. When his pump cut off, my pressure returned. And the truth settled like a stone in my stomach. The next morning, Max's nose led him to a patch of weeds near the fence. A pipe, old PVC, half hidden, running from my property straight into Walter's. My hands went cold. No, not possible. Not real. I turned on the outdoor spigot. A weak drip, barely water. Seconds later, his pump rumbled alive. Everything snapped together. Everything aligned. He wasn't stealing my water. He'd been living off it. For years. I tried to breathe, but anger grabbed my ribs and squeezed. I called Mia. She had always been my compass. Don't escalate, she said. Think first. Be smart. But she paused. I heard it, the worry. What? I asked. I know you, she whispered. You don't like being taken advantage of, Evan. She wasn't wrong. Our father raised us to defend our boundaries. He taught us that silence invites disrespect. A memory surfaced. A flashback bright and sharp. I was 16. A neighbor had stolen our lawnmower. Dad walked over. Didn't shout. Didn't argue. Just unplugged the mower mid-use and wheeled it home. Some lessons, he told me, don't need noise. Walter needed that lesson, but I needed certainty. For 2 full days, I studied the pressure, watched every pattern, listened for every hum, measured every drop. Every test pointed to the same truth. Every single time. He used water. My pressure collapsed. Anger grew in me, slow and steady, like a fire creeping across old wood. Not because of cost. Water was cheap. Because of arrogance. Because of entitlement. Because he'd taken my home and folded it into his daily life. Like I didn't exist. By the end of the week, I had made my decision. No yelling, no confrontation, no breaking the law. Just one quiet act. Turn off the main valve. Midnight came heavy and cold. Walter's pump kicked on. A groaning beast, starved for water. I walked outside. Max followed, loyal and silent. The moon fractured across the driveway. I reached for the valve, took a breath, pulled. Click. My home fell still. His did not. His pump screamed, ground itself into sparks, pulled air. Where water should have been, minutes stretched, turned into hours. At 3 a.m., chaos exploded. Screaming, slamming doors, lights flickering, smoke slipping through the cracks. In thick gray ribbons, tenants poured into the yard. One woman yelled, "Walter, fix this! This is the last straw." Police arrived. Arguments burst like fireworks. Boxes were packed. Doors slammed. His house unraveled. In a single night, by sunrise, Walter looked like a man, crushed by his own actions. Shaking, pale, small. His wiring was fried. His pump destroyed. His tenants gone. He approached my gate, as if it weighed 1,000 pounds. "Evan," he whispered, "did you turn off your water last night?" I held his gaze. Steady. Honest. "Yeah, I said softly. I had a leak. Didn't want the basement flooding. His face collapsed inward, not in anger. In defeat? Oh, he murmured. I see. He walked away, like a man carrying all his years on his shoulders. A week later, he moved in with his daughter, not because of me, but because the foundation of his life had cracked long before I arrived. I hired a plumber to cut every illegal pipe and seal every weak spot. For the first time since moving in, my water stayed mine. But the story didn't end there. Walter's daughter visited me. She apologized, explained, shared pieces of her father. I never knew. His grief, his loneliness, his slow unraveling. After his wife passed, sometimes people cling to control, in the worst ways, when they fear losing everything else. Her words stayed with me. That night, as I drove home, the air felt heavy, but clear. Revenge didn't fix him, didn't break me. It simply restored the balance he had disrupted. Consequences aren't cruel. They're necessary. And letting someone use you hurts deeper than any consequence you deliver back. Now, when I lock my gate, I feel something I didn't feel before. Not triumph, not relief, respect for myself, for my home, for the boundaries I rebuilt, from the ruins of someone else's entitlement. I didn't destroy Walter's life. I didn't ruin him. I didn't seek cruelty. I simply reminded him where his world ended and where mine began. And somehow, in the strange quiet that followed, we both walked away, changed.